Just ended one stream, and we're going to start another one. I'm going to have LA on here. The title I wrote, Christian and Agnostic, talk about religion and science. So I just did a French video with Jan Luca just now. We just ended it, and LA was in the comments, and like always, I thoroughly appreciate her comments and stuff like that. She's definitely not a Christian. I wrote agnostic. We're gonna verify to make sure that that's accurate. If she's maybe an atheist, I'll title whatever she would like to consider herself, or something like that. But yeah, so Jan, the channel, when I do it with Jan, the video's in French, but LA was asking questions, I was translating. So she did come on, but we had to stop the stream. First of all, it was going too long. Second of all, the topic wasn't matching the title much anymore, but there was echo for some reason just started. Echo started with me and LA, so we had to stop the stream. But yeah, we're going to have LA back on here. This is just a nice, relaxed discussion. She's very curious. She is very curious about picking my brain about Christianity, why I would be, a Christian, like what's the purpose and stuff like that. And they are good faith questions. She's really curious. Like she doesn't agree. She's just scratching her head and stuff like that. But yeah, she's very respectful. She seems to be like thoroughly interested. Like, I don't get this, man. Please explain to me and stuff like that. So it's a talk, whatever. Let's have her on, and I'm gonna post the link, and then after we'll play it by ear. LA, when my kids call, I have to cut the conversation. So that might be we might have a good hour. Hopefully they don't finish early. I am sending the link, and I will be back in 1 second. All right, give me a second. I have asthma for some reason. All of a sudden, it was like chest felt tight. So, taking my good pharma, helping big farm. Hello again. I hope the echo.
Don't get me on the pharma. My God. Sorry, I have to plug it. I have to plug it myself.
I hope the sound is better than it was. So
I hope so too.
So far, it's good.
Okay, should I do like?
Oh, I don't mind. Whatever you like. Whatever's the most photogenic side.
I have no idea. I've never done this before.
No, it looks fine. It looks fine.
Now I'm hearing an echo.
Are you hearing any echo? I'm not. Seems good. Are you hearing echoes? No.
A little bit.
Really? Okay. Well, I don't. You guys, if there's anybody there, yeah, there's 4 people. Are you guys hearing echo at all at the moment? Because we suddenly developed a bad case of echo at the end of last stream. So I wrote Christian. Do I call you like would you be fine with agnostic, like not knowing, or what do I write? I wrote Christian and agnostic talk about religion and science, something like that. I don't care about the title. I can adjust it.
We can figure out how to get the echo.
Is it like for your name, you just want to be referred to as LA?
Yeah, no, but that's fine. But honestly, I'm hearing like 4 or 5 people talking.
Okay. Mute. I'm gonna look at my settings. I'll see if there's something up that's.
Or let me, okay, or let me know if there's something I should do.
I don't know. Everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, so I have my echo cancellation is on. Reduce mic background
No,
noise. Automatically adjust my phone. Okay, so on the bottom of your screen, right? You know where it says mute, stop cam. There's settings. Can you click that? Okay. Now in there, audio. It says general camera audio. Do you see that?
it says echo cancellation is checked off.
Okay. You know what? Check it off and then recheck it. Maybe I don't know.
Echo
Yeah, that's the only
cancellation.
thing I was looking.
Okay. You know what? Check it off and then recheck it. Maybe I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's the
gonna
only thing I was looking.
try and see because if we can't fix this, then we're not gonna
Try and see.
we're not gonna do the stream because no one's gonna enjoy this. Sorry, everybody. We're doing our best. Edit mic setting. Reduce mic background noise. Automatically adjust mic.
Not working.
Setting. Reduce mic background noise. Automatically adjust mic.
Not working.
Setting. Reduce mic.
Okay, so there is not a screen, right? That's open. Like, when you click the link, you end up going on StreamYard, but behind that, the initial link, the
Is
YouTube
this
page
better?
itself.
Is
I
this
think
better?
so. I think so.
I think I
So
had a
far.
tab. I think I had a tab open. You're right,
Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah, exactly. Because you were watching initially, right? And you're
Exactly. I never
commenting.
closed the tab.
So when you click the link, it pushes you there, but you have to mute that. Yeah. Okay, good.
Well, I closed the whole tab. Yeah, we're good, I think.
Okay,
Sorry,
good.
I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So
Where were
would
we?
you refer to yourself agnostic? Like when it comes to the otherworldly, agnostic would mean you don't know. Atheist means that there's no God. Some people say that they believe like they're spiritual, or maybe they just believe in consciousness. Or where do you fall on the spectrum?
That's an interesting question because I remember asking myself this exact question when I was about, I think, 15 or 16 years old.
Okay.
I moved out of my hometown for the first time in a small, quaint northern town, and I moved to Toronto.
Yeah.
And I was 17, and I was 17, and when I moved in with my aunt, she was married to a person. We'll call his name. Ironically, his name was Jan, not spelt the same
Okay.
way. It
Yeah.
was Juan, Juanito.
Okay.
And he was older, right? And he was the son of an American ambassador to Morocco. So he grew up in the 70s as a son to the ambassador of Morocco. And he always told me my mother was the loveliest person. She would like host all these parties, like as an ambassador's wife or whatever. And he was in Morocco as like a 17-year-old, I think. He said like he was a teenager. And his father would always host these parties like in the political situation, and he would walk in with a poncho and long hair, again 70s, right?
Yeah.
And his mother would always be like in the middle of a party, he said she would always like embrace me and just like, oh, Juanito, da, 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 I love you, you're my son, blah blah blah. And in the middle of this political situation. Okay, so that's the picture he painted in my head about how he grew up with I think a naval father or whatever. So I moved there as a 17-year-old coming out of Timbuk, God darn 2, Timmins, Ontario. And I'm like meeting this person, Juan, for the first time. He's not related to me, it's my aunt's husband. And he has the first computers. This is like 1987 or something. He has the first computer and he's playing helicopter reality, um, like a
Simulation.
reality simulation. Thank you.
Mm.
And he also has then a table behind his little room, which is all hand painted little army war,
The map, kind of
the
thing.
map, the whole thing, navigating all this stuff, right? So I'm coming in as a young child. Of course, I have all my other, I do my reading about other stuff. Okay. So I'm watching all this and I'm trying to take all this in and understand. And he used to sit there and talk to me philosophically for hours about Vietnam War. He went to war. He was in a helicopter. He was became a vegetarian, which kind of comes into your other channel. But he was a vegetarian when he saw like bodies basically fall
Disgusted
out
him.
of
Flesh
trucks
disgusted him after.
from the war. Yeah.
Mm.
And so I don't want to get there. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like going all over the map or whatever, but painting a picture of how my mind is where I'm at today. So
Okay.
I hear all this. I'm listening to this. He's a very kind of a influence in my life because now my mind is expanded exponentially from meeting somebody who's older and who's been through war and who's teaching me all these things. And I'm just taking it all in. I'm like, he was a pacifist as well, so he was very he mattered in my life. Like he was just such a cool guy. And
Yeah.
anyway, so then we talked about religion, we talk about war, we talk about everything that's influencing my mind. I'm natively, why I didn't want to go back there, natively as a kid, between 0 to 5, I'm reading newspapers. Like I'm reading news. Like that was where my mind grew up as a kid. I don't know many kids who like read newspapers, but I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
My son, when he was about 4 or 5 years old, where did he gravitate in the library? He gravitated to what do you call this? Anatomy, no,
Anatomy.
anatomy books, like
Anatomy.
understand anatomy and so science mind, I guess. Now he's doing chemistry, but whatever. But anyways, it just okay. So to rein all this in is like I have questions. Where is your native mind? How are you influenced? Yes, we read Bibles and we are taught. What is native mind gonna do, and how do people get influence? Well, there's a big
Sorry, what do you mean by native mind? I'm not sure what that means. Just what the
well, without influences, right? And
okay.
now everything, the whole world is
Default mindset. I get it.
influencing and mindset and comfort and influencing and mind and AI and who's projecting what, and like do we ever just get back into our own native mind? Like I have a lot of questions about how all this is working.
It would be kind of Buddhism, maybe. Like Buddhism kind of is an attempt to return to the native mind, to the one consciousness. In a way, a lot of the Eastern actually are trying to accomplish that, or the practices of saying, because like that narrative in our mind, that story we say, right, that's not your native mind, that's not my native mind, but we all have that story that we tell us, and Buddhism clearly shows that no, this is the mind judges, labels, helps us navigate. We have to have opinions, we have to make decisions, and that's just the way the mind works. But it's important to know that the mind will also just flood your ears and your mind with thoughts, with ideas, and if you're not too clear what is in you and what is real you, then you'll be led by your mind instead of understanding how to control your mind and not grasp on hatred that feels like, you know, like when somebody gets triggered,
Well,
it means
moral,
that
moral
it means
compass,
that
right?
the thought like my thought, if I get triggered, it's like I'm reacting to you as if you're physically attacking me. You ever notice how humans literally, you know, if we're not mindful, if you're getting enraged by somebody disagreeing with you, that means that you literally think like they're stabbing the real you and stuff like that, you know. So I find Buddhism's great in respect to mindfulness and stuff like that. I did not leave that go. Didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater when I became a Christian bigot. You know, there's a lot of wisdom out there, you know, and you know, it's beneficial. But sorry, I cut you off.
No,
So
no,
you're
you
talking
didn't.
about this
But,
gentleman, you know,
but
Vietnam. He started talking to you like
yeah, and
he
just
had
like,
an impact in your life, you know.
yeah, just like an influence, and then, well, obviously an influence. I never forgot him, and he was very peaceful, pacifist, like I said, person in my life at the time where, if and I don't want to go there, but like at a time where everything before that was very cruel and
Yeah.
angered and untrustworthy, and and being raised by Catholics. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so and then I met this person, and then that was like that was a thing. But then like let's fast forward, and then I choose a long time in coming. I had fertility issues, etc. But I did have my children. Fast forward, I raised my children. You have to make conscious decisions of how you're going to raise your children. And I remember two things that were, well, maybe three. Uh, naming your children to me was very important, and what that was going to mean. It seemed very important to me. And then secondly, how you're going to raise them, and a choice of, in my past, I was raised as a Catholic, and I went through communion, confession, the dresses, the whole crown bullshit. Maybe may or may not be associated with monarchies, which is might be another tangent. And then how I was going to choose. Well, then of course with my partner, my husband at the time, he grew not Catholic, but uh, I think I'm not exactly sure. I won't even say, uh, but also not connected to religion. Let's put it that way. And
Sure.
so then I had to make a decision. How am I going to raise my children?
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to do that? Do I choose? Do I make a decision to expose them to this, or do I not? I chose not to. And I guess when I want to fast forward quickly here is I chose not to. And now my children are not uh, exposed directly by me as a mother or parent to religion. Now, if they investigated that on their own, I don't know. I don't think they did. I did ask them a couple of times. Then here we find ourselves uh, uh, experiencing Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
which is religious. And so I have in retrospect, as an older person, I have these questions. I'm like, well, Christmas for me was tied to religion. Now for them, it was not tied to religion. For them, it was tied to just being a good person, sharing in family, and then well
I
then
take it that.
well then here we go with my question earlier in our earlier stream about,
Sure.
is it better to be religious or science brain? And
Both.
like you could still be a moral compass, and you could still be teaching your children to do good, but we always have to tie it to religion and the 7 steps? And I always did the golden rule: treat others as you want to be treated. And now I'm going to leave that to you to answer.
Well, it's like I said, like, you know, when people started to advance science, and they started, you know, you know, the founding fathers of chemistry, the founding fathers of physics, you know, all of these people. I mean, you know, a lot of science, the uh, springing out of science. There's some in Europe, there's around the world, but the West really, you know, it pushed, you know, a lot the discoveries. So you got Newton, and you got all of these fathers, and if you just look at them, it's because everybody was Christian back then. It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, and but what I'm saying is that that there were two things for those guys. There was their ability to use science to physically measure gravity. To you look at telescopes, microscopes, diving deeper into all of the core physical scientists. Now, um, uh, then after there's somebody, okay, and that then what about your inner life? What about the thing going between your two ears? You know, that is
But that's
science.
that's cute. Well, that's what keeps me up at night. I can't even
Yeah,
sleep. What's going on
right.
out there?
But what I'm saying is science has no capacity to ever reach to analyze, to fix, to it's nothing to do with it, because we're dealing, again, remember, like invisible things. We're dealing, science cannot measure courage, sacrifice, and stuff like that. Can't explain, a lot of things, how resentment can destroy a person. But yet, like that, people will always say, a resentment is like drinking poison and expecting your enemy to die, and everyone will agree. Oh no, everyone knows that a resentment, or all these emotions, we all
Yeah.
experience them.
Personally, I don't carry resentment.
I'm not a very no,
yeah,
I'm
I
not a
let it
resentful person. But what I'm saying is,
go.
I'm just spitting out inner
Yeah.
states of being and inner states of mind.
So
What I'm
here's
saying is, if inside of that, okay, you are fearful, you're anxious, and things are happening and you're not dealing with life, human default setting are usually not the virtues. We tend to go to the vices. It takes a little bit more effort to get to that that virtue aspect. If we're uncareful, we go to the default of just ego, reactions and stuff, at least for me. So when I go,
I literally try to let go of ego personally.
so me too,
You know,
but
I work with freaking lawyers, Jason, and medical doctors, and you're in that mode. Like ego
right.
to me, when I see it, it's foul. Like it just looks
So
like that's not exactly what I would want to
quite
do.
simply, what I'm saying is, spirituality is the realm of intentions. It's the realm about behind the veil. Why are you doing that? Because I saved a lot of people in 20 years, and you know
Yeah,
what? I went around bragging about doing that. Okay,
right.
I looked for recognition. Therefore, the act physically saved a life. The act inner spiritually was full of ego, full of self-recognition, full of pride. So
But
outward
you don't do
manifestation,
that anymore. Is that what you're saying?
uh, to lesser degrees, of course, and that's what happened. So my inner life, okay, was in turmoil. Okay, perhaps I just had it. I had it worse than others. Okay, I was full of
Was it
vices.
age
I
and
was.
experience related? Do you think? Like, do you
Uh,
think with age
I
you got over
I developed addiction very early. I'm an excessive person, and it now I've directed it in my profession. I've excelled with it. I've
Yeah.
learned to harness it for good. But mine was hypersensitive. Okay, and extremely anxious. And things like that. Anyways, all of that, okay, made it very hard for me to cope with life. I was oversensitive, and being oversensitive means that you care way too much what people think, which again is the selfish thing. It's just you going like, oh, like they think, it's all self-absorbed. And then I read Eckhart Tolle. So I started reading self-help books because I was like, I know that what I'm doing is irrational. I know what I'm doing is working against me, yet I see it and I can't overcome it. So this is why I started going through the spiritual books. Science, physics, nothing answered it for me. Psychology didn't answer much. I read a bit of psychology. So I went to every single possible spirituality book other than the Bible, because that was not true. And then I started learning about vices and virtues and stuff like that. And I started wanting them. But I did 20 years of every single practice, like I really earnestly, and all I could see was more clearer the vices. And it was sad because I was unable to truly sweep them out of the house. I could only repress it, hide it in a closet, not show it out. So so science didn't help anything, even though I was excelling. I mean, I have three studies that will be published in medical journals. Like if somebody wants to tell me like that I'm religious minded, I'm like, okay, I'll pull my ego. I have 3 studies that will be published soon.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
I get
it
that.
had
So you do
nothing
have
to
that
do with
science,
how messed up I was inside. And
but
but
also being a
finally I
high
went
achiever.
so finally I ended up understanding more and more about spiritual things, wanting, and then finally I believe that it was, yeah, like typical Christians, it was God that called me, and I was brought to Christ, and then I had the experience, and because of that, like you said, you only know through your perception, your experience, stuff like that. So from me being so broken internally yet successful in science, I went for the route that science and physics and all these things could not help, and then I went through all the various different styles of it, and they only convicted me worse and worse of how messed up and fragile and broken I was, and finally, very gradually, and this is over years, I end up being Christian. It just
So
things,
here's a question.
yeah,
So before all that,
yeah,
when you were the kid,
yeah,
did you grow up with that? And like kind of like my painted story was like I
no,
grew up, it was never forced. I investigated on my own. It was all me.
yeah.
But like was it your
No, I
family
get it. I
your
understand.
own as
Yeah.
well? I
For me, my father died when I was 2.
I
Um,
remember. Yeah.
my mom, my mom asked a family member, why did God take him away? He was actually a pastor. He was a minister, and all his answer was, God didn't take him away. That was it, and that's not good enough.
Yeah,
So my
it's not
mom
a closure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what's that to a grieving? And there was a very good response that could have said, but anyways, she got the impression there's no answers here. So my mom, growing up, was a spiritual person. She did parapsychology, tarot cards. Her house, had Buddhas everywhere and
Wow, at
Vishnus. And
least you had that. I
yeah,
had zero.
no, that's it. And
But
then
yeah, at
at
least you
one
had
point,
that. Like you were
yeah,
exposed to some degree.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Right from the start, it was always a question very, very young. Then I remember hearing about uh, astral traveling, because my mom met, when I was 8, my stepfather, and he talked to me around 8 or 10 or something, probably more 10. Yeah, 10, 12ish, about astral traveling. He astral traveled, and he kind of like showed me the method, and I was like, I want to be spiritual. And see, spiritual to
And
me
who,
was,
yeah, who wouldn't want that?
and so I was into
As a
that
kid,
near death
you're like,
experiences.
oh, that's
Yeah.
Superman.
Then I fell into, just basically, partying in my 20s and stuff like that. Became a pothead, smoke. Developed terrible asthma and lung issues. Transferred my addiction to alcohol because I couldn't smoke cigarettes anymore, or I couldn't do that. That didn't cause much problems. I was a party guy, a funny guy at the bar, and then eventually it caught up to me. I had some, a couple of bad years at the end, hit many rock bottoms, and again, that inside of me, these are things that science could not measure. These are things that are unobservable, and they were real to me. And it felt like an endless, dark pit void. It felt like I thought I could get no deeper, and I was deeper. And then that gave me the idea, well, this is an inner thing. If this feeling exists, then there has to be an opposite.
Right.
So from hell, I said, from hell, from the devil kind, then I've experienced that. Okay, science can't measure that. That this has way more influence over my life, what I'm experiencing inside, than anything science is going to tell me. And so then that's where I went on this spiritual journey. So I wasn't born into Christianity. I was a very I criticized Christianity on
Yeah.
many levels, and but I was doing like a lot of spiritual people. I was allegorizing everything was spiritualized in the Bible. For some reason, I was like, there is something to the Bible, and I mean, it is packed with you know, just good things that that we should do. I mean, you read Proverbs 1, it's just a typical thing that a good father would say, a good parent would say to their child and stuff. You look at Proverbs, it's really just a book of wisdom, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll wait till she gets back. So tell me in the comments, guys, if you agree or disagree. You don't have to choose between believing in God or believing in science. You can have both, because both are investigating very different things. Again, science can never measure or test the substance of emotion. It's not a physical manifestation. However, it is very real. And if we look at just the human history, humans have been creating religions forever, right? That's one of the criticisms. There's like 500 different kinds of gods. And what we're seeing is every single society that went completely secular and authoritarian and removed God from the picture, just as much death, destruction, and genocide would occur, because the one thing that keeps people from genociding is a theistic belief that no matter how despicable you are as a human,
Oh
you
God,
still have integrity because
don't
you're
get me going on despicable.
well, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
So I think privately, I'm a true crime fucking fanatic. I
sure,
literally am seriously addicted to true crime.
yeah,
And I do question this in my brain. Why am
yeah,
I so fascinated with this and constantly fascinated with what humans do to each other? It fascinates me to no
yeah,
end. I think it's because it's just compelling and goes against everything in the Bible, goes against everything about treat others the way you want to be treated, goes
mm,
against every shock in your brain about what brings a human being to get in that situation. And well, that's one question. And then the
mm,
second question is, I seriously have problems with sleeping. I have a fifth sleep test going on there. Well, whatever. I won't talk about that. But
sleep
I,
apnea.
I literally have nightmares and night terrors about my children
Mm,
specifically, because I'm like, I brought them into this freaking matrix, and
mm,
now I see all this bullshit in the world and everything that could happen to them.
mm,
And all I want to do is like still have them, at my breast and like safe and sound. And I can't. They're out there. And anything can happen. And of course, 33 years of personal injury crap. And I just like again, then I get full circle about, why am I here? What is the purpose? Why am I projecting this on them? They should
mm,
be happy and well and not worried about this. But then I feel a compulsion to project all this, like, be safe, be safe, be safe, because the
mm,
world is such a fucking crappy place. And
mm.
it always has been, and it always will be. And da 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 da. I,
Yes, and
I'm sure
so
other parents
what I would encourage you is exactly this. You have fully embraced science, as I have, and it is a wonderful thing.
Mhm.
And you are being tormented by questions that have tormented humans. Okay, not cows, probably not horses contemplating this,
Yeah, that's
humans.
true.
Okay,
That's a good point. They
yeah,
don't think about it.
and you're being tormented by questions that philosophy as well as religion have been
Scientists.
trying to answer, knowing with humility that science can never touch that realm. It's invisible, it's unmeasurable. So that's why the question is, you have anxiety because at the moment you're refusing to go look at the questions pondered by past humans over thousands of years and the possible answers that they've come through, peer reviewed over centuries and millennia of people sitting, tortured by these questions, contemplating these questions, being collected eventually, sometimes in historical manuscripts and stuff like that. And I think that it's worth just going and trying to answer the invisible. See, even the question, the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah,
Okay. But
that's how I live.
it doesn't answer, but why?
But you're
Why?
right. Well, it doesn't answer anything. It just makes me exist. And
Yeah.
so
But
then
the
what happens
Bible,
is then I go into a deeper mindset of my existence means
yeah.
nothing. What's the purpose?
The
Why do
Bible
I
goes
get
one
broke
step
every
further and
day doing
says,
bullshit, bullshit, bullshit? For other, well, and I might add bullshit, bullshit, bullshit for other people, right? So blah,
mhm,
blah, blah. So what happens is when you really get in your own brain, which is like kind of where this started, is what is what is how do you live in your own critical thinking without being waking up rote every day for other people? Because when it comes down to your own consciousness and
yeah,
thinking, that is a really, really difficult question to answer. It's
mm,
a very difficult place to be. And it does get a little bit dark because when you really get to the nitty gritty, after like having many experiences and
mhm,
perceptions, when you
yeah,
get there, it gets a little bit creepy. And I consume a lot of media with, well, let's just put this out there. I don't know much about Joe Rogan, but I do
yeah,
know a lot about Lex Fridman, and he does interview a lot of
yeah,
scientists and arguably universe astronomy type people
mhm,
and mathematicians.
yeah,
And so I absorb all that
yeah,
and I understand it and I learn it. I'm not like I wouldn't be them, but I absorb it all. And it
yeah,
gets overwhelming to some degree that it's like, fuck, if people like that can't figure it out, what the hell am I doing here? What's
yeah,
my purpose?
exactly. Okay, so again, have you ever heard of is it Masuru Emoto?
Yeah.
I popped it up on that last stream. Did you see the water crystals?
Yes.
You
With the
know, and
sound and the vibrations.
so imagine, yeah, like I think that one was literally
But for me,
people
but for me, that
speaking.
was like 5 years ago. That was 5 years ago I
No,
consumed.
no, but listen, this is what I'm trying to get at with
Okay.
that is that you are being you are exactly like the majority of the people in the world who have been pondering these questions and been tortured by these questions, and your questions that you have cannot be answered by science. Okay, and what it's doing is creating negativity in you, right? Because you're upset. You see, there's this horrible world now,
Exactly. Yeah, I see
and
where you're
what's
going.
that doing to your
Yep.
water, right?
Yeah,
So
I know. I
what
see
I'm
where you're
saying
going.
is that now perhaps it's a theory. Even take it as theory. I will say the Bible has a theory why things are happening, and that theory might satisfy your your intellect, okay, and say, oh, okay, so the theory is this is happening and that's why it happens. Well, I'm still disgusted at this darkness and stuff like that, but I understand that it has an invisible inner origin,
Yeah,
and and it's like all of a
I do.
sudden
Yeah.
it's just an understanding of, it's like, oh, okay, this book, I don't believe it. Look, I don't.
I see what you're
There
saying. It's
is
like
good.
my
There is
output
good
of energy
information
is just
on
not good.
how to behave in the world. And if you just take it as, I rather you open it up and say, like, let's see what kind of wisdom we can kind of pull out. Maybe it has a few good points. I'd rather read it. You just read it as a historical literature, not trying
Yeah,
to any. But it does. It has. There's a reason why it's existed for over 3,000 years and it's still a bestseller. It's because there is some good stuff in there, and there is, it has been
I get it.
time tested, even if it has some kind of psychological voodoo on us, and it's not even spiritual.
I
It
get it.
just, it puts humans in a mindset where it just psychologically puts them in a more empowered, less fearful, and more, it's like, for me,
Well,
I
here's
had
the
the
question:
same questions
do
as
you
you.
want to be all fluffy marshmallow, or do you actually want to be on the fight or flight and be on like the more like? So for me, I can't do that marshmallow fluffy thing. I need to be in the fight
Elaborate
or
on the
flight.
marshmallow. In which way do you mean
Well,
marshmallow?
because I just feel like you're taking like the easy way out. Like if that would be
Which
just,
way?
oh, like I'm taking like so much solace in this, it's all good. Like, oh, I'm gonna be like the good guy and live my life in an easy way. Whereas in my life, because
Yeah,
well, maybe arguably because of my upbringing and my job, plus I see a lot of shit in my job. Well,
yeah,
as you do too. But you and I are in different. You're in medical, I'm in law, so we see
yeah,
it. But so part of me is just constantly in fight or flight because I always want to be on the radar. I
yeah.
always want to be like, I need to know what's coming. I need to know who's out there. And da, da, da. I can't do the marshmallow, what I call. I
Yeah.
guess we're gonna have to coin that, my dear.
The one problem is, I do want, and I can back that up quite quickly, is living in the West, Christians don't get persecution. Okay. But if you are unfortunate and happen to become a Christian in North Korea right now, in Yemen, and in most of the Islamic states, okay, you will die. Okay. And this, you won't know. I admit I could be self deluded. But it seems like a common thread with Christians, and it is a historical fact. Christians will go to the grave, okay, without denouncing, okay. Me included, and stuff like that. So, what was I saying? Sorry, what was the
Yeah,
last thing that you
it
said?
kind of didn't really answer my question, but
No, what was the
I guess
last thing you said? Because
I
I
guess
sorry.
my question was like, if you're in a fight or
Oh,
flight mode all the
the woo
time
woo,
and
the
you want to
fuzzy,
be able to live, you're
fuzzy
not
stuff.
going to be delusional about uh, taking time to marshmallow reading a book about being a good person. I'm faster than that. Like I already got it. Da da da. Live the do the good thing. So for me, the any appeasement of
Mhm.
religion is just out the window. It's just not going to work for me. I'm just
So,
more fight or flight, humanity, science. Plus, I see a lot of people are just knee jerk reacting in making decisions about how to live. Like, I'm going through this with my son. He literally just graduated from school, knee jerk, da da da. You go through school, da da da. He went through chemistry. Both my kids graduated with Dean's List honors. They're smart. They're smart kids. But then I now pose these questions upon them of like, well, are you just going to do what I'm doing? You work in law, you work in medical, you choose a career, but nobody's questioning the bigger questions, Jason. And I think that's
yeah,
where this all started was
fair
the
enough.
bigger questions, reading the Bible, who wrote the Bible, science versus, history
Those can
versus
be answered, but that's one thing at a time.
fiction.
So let's go back to the woo. What's the corn like? Well, I know what you're calling it. It's been said many times. It says that religion is the opium for the masses. And you've recoined it. What was it?
I've
Song
never heard that term, but
is a
okay.
quote. Yeah, in
But
history.
it sounds like it's plausible.
Well, it's exactly what you're saying. It's for self appeasement. It's
It's
it's a
a
fairy tale.
distraction.
It's a fairy tale said to adults so that they can feel better going through difficult self-soothing and stuff like that. Um, but what I'm saying is, well, yeah, but you seem very upset and distraught, and it bothers you. Maybe, like, what's wrong with a little bit of appeasement? Like, you when you are
But because it's fiction, and I would never be appeased by fiction. Never, ever, ever, ever.
okay, that's the difference.
I want
No, you're
reality.
saying, okay,
Hence
that's
our conversation about AI. Like,
no,
but
but what I'm trying to say is that's fine. It's okay if you say that Christianity, it's just woo because it's not real, no problem. But to say that a Christian who is going to die for his belief, and Christians have been persecuted, and they are getting slaughtered in masses.
How's that working for you?
Okay. So
That's
these
the question.
people.
How's that working for everybody? It's definitely
Well,
not
what I'm
working
saying
for
is, I don't
anybody.
think those people are self soothing woo woo pansies. These people are brave. These people face death without fear, and
That's
Christians have done
bullshit. Like, oh, come on.
well.
If people are gonna like be born and live and then be so delusional and distracted to give themselves up, their lives up to die. This makes no sense to me. This is not.
Right.
This was not fruitful.
So what if these guys had a true experience that they could not deny, and they were willing, not they don't want to, but they can't deny it because they know it's true. And even if they're self-deluded, these people are dying for something they believe in. They're not killing for something they believe in. They're dying for something.
Which is stupid to me. But
Well,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
at least if you're gonna die, at least have an idea why you're gonna do it. But if you're gonna do it for someone else, or someone else influenced you to do that without making up your own critical mind, that's delusional to me.
Jesus Jesus died for other people.
I don't agree that he should have. And also I don't agree that he did. I think he was persecuted. Like, did he? He didn't
Well, he was
choose.
persecuted.
He didn't choose. No, that
Well,
wasn't his choice. He was murdered. This was murder. Clear as day. This was murder. This was the Romans.
of course.
So that wasn't a choice. So I don't know. And
He
so,
no, that
so
was a choice.
that's actually a good question. It brings me right back into my fascination with
Just to let you know, it was his choice.
murder. People
Yeah, but
murder, and you have a murderous mind and heart.
yeah,
That makes no sense to me because it goes against every grain of what's in my heart. So I don't understand it.
right.
Like, everything
So,
in my heart is about protecting and being caring
so
and
there's
faithful.
okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
There's a bit of a delay. Sorry, I apologize.
No, it's no problem at all. Well, like I said, religion is dealing with. Hello. All
That's
right, I'll go pick you up
that's
over
an awesome
there.
tone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going. I have to go pick up my son.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
no, it's good because I like that we didn't go in a million places. We kind of hovered on one kind of thing, which is good. It's more fun. We get deeper into one thing at a time. I think it's more fun for people that'll watch, that we're not like, like hardly touching and just jumping and stuff like that. I would have
So good.
talked to here for 3 more hours. Was very enjoyable. I'm kind of upset that we're like cut in the middle, but I gotta go.
That's okay. I get it. I
Right.
understand.
Next
Totally.
time, this won't be the last, and we'll just take the conversation up where we left off. But I think my small thing is that you can have your cake and you can eat it too. You can have science, and you can have an inner life that is led by religion, and they're compatible. That's what I think. That's the message I leave with. I don't agree that science, you have to make a choice, science or religion. I think that science deals with the outside stuff and religion deals with the invisible stuff. So
Yeah, compatible wouldn't be the word I would use, but integral, I guess. Yeah,
yeah,
for
could
sure.
be integral.
Yeah,
Can be. Bad religion and bad science can really, be antagonistic. But I think when they're both equally put in their place, um, I
there's
think
a
that
place for that for sure.
I think
Yeah.
that yeah, they can answer different questions. All
Well,
right,
thank you,
all
Jason.
right, yeah,
I appreciate your inviting me on today. Thank
yeah.
you.
No, you're you help me have content. Like this is what content providers want. I don't want Nub's revenge. I don't want people that are just no good faith discussion, just want to come and rip me apart.
Well,
And
also, yeah, your trolls
you're
or
not
whatever.
doing
I'm
that.
like, let's have a freaking discussion here
And
about
it's a
like
wonderful,
reality.
it's a wonderful example too, because then people say like, oh, look how Jason can interact with somebody who's agnostic, and somebody that it has complete like we're left and right, yet we're sitting here together, respecting each other, loving
Yeah.
each other, in friendship, and trying to understand each other. And then saying, oh, now I understand you, you understand me. We still disagree because we have different point of view, and off we go. And let's make it pleasant for the viewers. This is pleasant for viewers.
I
When
think
I'm
so
going to
too.
battle
And
with
maybe they can understand
communities,
what we're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
And maybe they can like commiserate or understand or, and also like I'm not done. I have a lot of questions, but
yeah, well,
I might go just live on my own channel just to get it all out of my head right now next.
sure. Well, you know what? Go
Just to give
if
it a
you do
try.
go live.
But
If you go,
I'm learning, so forgive me, people, if I don't know how to do it.
another good thing though that can do is yeah, start doing content. And I can do response videos. I can do content. Like that would be a good back and forth, where sometimes if you're just like, you have a thought and you're like, you send a video out, tag me. You just go hashtag. You just do at Jason John Swartz. Okay,
Okay.
and it pops up in my feeds. I know that you mentioned me. It's
Oh,
just
so
to know
if
my
I do
name.
that when I go live, if I do that in my description, I think, is
Yeah,
that what you mean?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's like I'll know that there's something related to me and there and stuff, and we
Okay, I'll
and
try
then
that.
you can sit there, let's say, and watch one of my videos and take your time and go and just like go through the questions, and then I have to sit down and I have to kind of like go through, and it's like, yeah, that could be also
Okay, so I
another.
didn't know anything about that. I've only tried like I think four or five times lives. I've privated all of them because now I'm embarrassed. But and I get a little bit shy and I
Yeah,
don't want to put them out there. But I will try one right now after you hang up because you have to go with your family. I'll try
yeah,
one now because I have time and my mind is still racing. So I'm gonna give it a try if anybody
yeah.
wants to
Uh,
check me out.
I have to go, but I'm going to come
Yeah.
back up to fix this video, and I'll show you. You'll see I tagged you in the title, and you'll see it'll pop up.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
All
Yeah.
right. All
Thank you,
right.
my
See you
dear.
guys.
Take
All
care,
right.
my dear. Have a good day.
All right. See ya. Bye,
Yeah.
guys.
See you.
Okay, guys. Good conversation. Anybody watching from my other community that loves me, this is a good example of how adults can have conversations. My point is to share my faith accurately, not to try and convince her. I just want her to have an accurate view of what exactly Christians believe, and yeah, and then just go with the flow. And this was a wonderful conversation. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the conversations. I enjoyed talking with her. And, LA, thank you, because you've helped prove a point for other people that come on that are rude, speaking over and stuff like that. Yeah. That's not a me thing. That's a you thing, because Jason just showed you that he can talk with people that are completely in opposition to his beliefs, gently, with a smile. And yeah, thanks a lot. All right. See you guys.